In a perfect world, where peace and harmony reigned, there was a place called Eden, an immaculate garden, where life flourished, and man and woman lived in full connection with the Creator. Everything was good, without a shadow of evil. But amidst perfection, something unexpected arose. A serpent with soft words whispered into Eve's ear. But this wasn't just any serpent. It didn't come to deceive alone, but to challenge. It offered more than freedom, it offered power. The temptation was not simple, and what seemed like an innocent choice became a profound dilemma. The true intention of this serpent was not merely to see Eve fall, but to alter the course of human history. What happened in that encounter was far more than just a conversation. What was truly at stake? What did the serpent really want? And why does this crucial detail change our understanding of what happened in that moment? If you want to understand the true conflict that began in Eden and still affects humanity today, subscribe to the channel. This knowledge will transform the way you read the Bible and how you understand the choices and consequences that persist to this day. What most people don't know is that Genesis, the first book of the Bible, hides a secret that has been coded from the beginning. A secret that many read every day, but don't perceive. This mystery only reveals itself when we look beyond the common translation, diving into the original Hebrew text. When you examine the words in their original language, details that once went unnoticed begin to emerge. And these details are not simple language variations. They carry a depth of meaning that completely changes the narrative we know. And believe me, the serpent wasn't just a seductive creature. There was something much deeper in its intentions. What did it truly want? What was at stake in Eden? You're about to discover. And I can assure you, this revelation could transform your understanding of the salvation plan. So stay with me until the end. What's coming next will challenge everything you thought you knew. And when you understand the true purpose behind this story, your view of Christianity and the Bible itself will never be the same. In the beginning, Genesis introduces us to a perfect world, where creation is pure and flawless. God created man and woman to live in harmony, in a full union with Him. They were meant to care for Eden, to enjoy its beauty and abundance with no obstacles. But in this idyllic setting, something happens that changes everything. A mysterious figure appears, an unexpected presence in paradise. The serpent. But this isn't just any snake, as many might think when reading the scriptures. In the original Hebrew, the word used is nachash. And this term holds a much deeper meaning. It can not only be translated as serpent, but also as brilliant, enchanting, or even diviner. This changes everything. The serpent is not just crawling on the earth. It is a figure of intelligence, with clear intent. It doesn't act by chance, but with purpose, with a plan. What it says to Eve isn't just a simple temptation. It's a proposal for something much bigger, a conscious rebellion against God's authority. This wasn't just a test for Eve, but a cosmic battle unfolding right before Adam and Eve's eyes. A power struggle between creation and the Creator. The serpent knew exactly what it was doing, and its true target wasn't the tree, as many believe. Its true target was God's throne. It wanted more than just to seduce Eve. It wanted to undermine divine authority, corrupt the established order, and question the supremacy of the Creator Himself. And it was this doubt planted in Eve that ultimately led to the great conflict. As the story unfolds, the tension grows, and the weight of this action becomes more and more present. What seemed like a simple choice reveals itself as the turning point that would bring eternal consequences to all of humanity. What if the serpent didn't just want to deceive, but had an even bolder objective? What if it wasn't just trying to cause a fall, but to create a new kingdom, a world where God would be discarded, where man would rule without the Creator, a new order where human autonomy was the key to everything? It seems like an absurd idea, but if we look around, we begin to realize that this narrative didn't end in Eden. Could it be that today, the serpent still whispers in the minds and hearts of people, offering the same promise it gave to Eve? Be like God? The idea of self-sufficiency, of living without a higher power, is still being planted in the minds of many. And this spiritual war hasn't stopped. It continues today, fought in new forms with new masks. If you've already noticed how this struggle persists, in different ways, but with the same goal, like this video now, let's explore together how these same deceptions continue to spread, masked by the realities of our time. The conversation in Eden wasn't simply about a forbidden fruit. That exchange of words between Eve and the serpent was wrapped in something far deeper, something that would shape the destiny of humanity forever. It wasn't just a temptation to eat, it was an attempt to transfer authority. The serpent knew exactly what it was doing. It didn't just want Eve to sin, it wanted to steal humanity's role as God's representative on earth. By yielding to the serpent's voice, humanity didn't just disobey a divine command. It handed over dominion over creation. The world that God had made, perfect in every detail, was then surrendered to the adversary. By obeying the serpent, man not only distanced himself from God, but also strayed from his original purpose. What the serpent wanted, from the very beginning, wasn't merely to see them fall into temptation, but to take man's place as ruler of the earth, as the one who would be God's representative. And what happens in Genesis 3 verse 15 is even more surprising. It's not just a curse cast upon the serpent. It's the first Messianic prophecy we see in the Bible. God declares that, although the serpent tried to corrupt his divine plan, it would not be victorious. God promises, the seed of the woman would crush the serpent's head. This isn't just any promise. It's the first hint, the first clue, of a redemption plan that would begin right then, in that moment. From that point on, the world enters into a quiet, almost invisible war, where nothing is as it seems. Lineages rise and fall, promises are made and broken, betrayals happen at every corner, all around one single plan. The plan to rescue humanity from the fall that began with that serpent in Eden. And here's the deeper detail. The impact of that moment reverberates to this day. The battle that began there is not confined to the past. It echoes in our choices, our fears, and the lies we still believe today. What the serpent truly wanted was more than to corrupt creation. It wanted to make humanity its own. And in the meantime, God was preparing vengeance, not by force, but through a silent promise that would be fulfilled centuries later on a cross. But what you may not know is that there's something even more shocking. The spirit of the serpent didn't disappear after Eden. It continues to manifest throughout the scriptures, emerging in powerful, oppressive figures throughout biblical history. Think of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, who rejected God's power and tried to keep his dominion over the people of Israel. Think of Herod, who, with his thirst for power, tried to destroy the child who would bring salvation to the world. And more recently, even religious leaders in Jesus' day, who, with their false doctrines, tried to distort God's truth. The war that began in Eden has never ceased. The same spirit that deceived Eve, that manipulated the hearts of Pharaoh and Herod, still operates in the shadows, distorting the truth and trying to control the narrative. But something crucial happens. Those who understand this pattern, who know this story, can recognize when the serpent is still speaking today. And here's the critical point. The spiritual battle that started in Eden is still alive in our world. Now more than ever, it's vital that we remain alert to the signs. The serpent disguises itself, presents itself in many forms, in various places, and communicates in ways that are not always obvious. It tries to lead us astray, just like it did with Eve. But by understanding the true nature of this battle, we can resist and even help others to see the truth. If you shared this video now, It could be the trigger someone needs to open their spiritual eyes. By sharing this message, you might be helping someone identify and resist the lies and deceptions that still permeate our daily lives. It's not just a video, it's a key to awakening. So, share it now and help spread this revelation. The serpent wanted more than to destroy Eden. It wanted to steal humanity's identity as God's children, distorting everything that God had planned for humanity. It didn't just challenge the Creator. It wanted to hijack the essence of creation and make humanity captive, far from its divine purpose. But there's something crucial we need to remember. Christ won. The victory he achieved on the cross restored what was lost in the Garden of Eden. That perfect relationship between God and humanity, broken by disobedience, was restored through Jesus' sacrifice. He became the way, the truth, and the life, and now, each of us has the chance to restore what was lost that day. But the true victory is not simply about knowing more or understanding the scriptures better. The true victory is in living as those whose names are written in the book of life, in walking in faith and obedience to God, and in recognizing the spiritual battle that exists, but has already been won by Christ. The moral of this story is clear. Never underestimate the power of God's word, nor the subtlety of the enemy, who disguises itself and operates in the shadows, always trying to lead us astray from God's purpose for our lives. If you've made it this far, it's because God has something important to reveal to your heart. He brought you to this moment, and perhaps this is the key you've been waiting for to something greater. If you felt in your heart that there's more to understand, that this message was meant for you, then subscribe to the channel now. Turn on notifications, because the next video might be the awakening your soul is longing for. Click on the next video, and continue to uncover more pieces of this divine puzzle.